the song is the most pleasurable minutes of that hour.
It was the most pleasurable minutes of that hour that we could remember. Our memories weren't that good. Okay. And so going back, if we went back to the parts that you don't hear, the other hour and 15 minutes or so, you yourself might say, fellas, what'd you do? That's the best stuff there. But for us, that was the parts that we sort of found ourselves playful with in that way. And that's basically the way most of the songs came about, was in a very playful way and not trying to go back too long and too hard and rethink it all.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, the lyric, is there a story behind it? Or?
I suppose I was enamored with the idea of the uniqueness of the snowflake, obviously, but just the idea that it was coming down, and there was only one purpose of it coming down, was to melt, to dissolve, you know. And I found that playful in a way that seemed to have a lot of metaphors, if you were, towards people, you know, sort of letting themselves go into something much bigger than just...
That's also already the letting go theme.
Yeah, if there is a theme, that would certainly be one of the strongest veins of it through the record, of letting go. Not giving up, but letting go. And that's probably one of the most dominant sort of momentums I had lyrically. Maybe because that's what was going on inside of me to a degree, or that's what I interpreted it as.
Yeah, but what you're saying is that letting go is not a bad thing, maybe even a release or something like that?
I think it's the only thing. It happens to all of us. Regardless of how hard you hold on. It's a process. It's not something that you can sort of deny. You can maybe delay it a bit, but eventually that happens. It happens to everything in nature. It happens to the cosmos. Big bang, expands back, big bang, back and forth. And so that letting go, for me, seemed to, you know, somewhat just keep sort of spinning around in the mind, so to speak, lyrically, even in ways that I really wasn't so conscious of at the time.
Yeah.
It's interesting the way it works sometimes. The eye cannot see itself. And that's one of the most exhilarating things for me about music, is that I'm not always aware of what I'm doing. Even if I try to trick myself sometimes that I am, I'm not always.
Is it also that sometimes you make up like images and then later you're thinking, oh, that means, that could mean this or that? Or?
Usually it's pointed out to me at a later point. Most people, when they give their observations about the lyrics or about songs, are always sort of coming at it, well, this is what I think, Jonathan. But oftentimes there's a lot more insight in what they have to say than musicians give them credit for, you know. It's easy for most musicians to say, oh yeah, fans said this, or journalists had this to say, and be dismissive of it.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's a lot more insight in it than you want to see. Sometimes it's not all pretty insight, but it's often a lot more valuable than one might see initially.
Yeah. Have you sometimes maybe scared yourself in hindsight for, oh, what did I say?
Sometimes not so much scare, but you surprise yourself. And it doesn't always have to be with, well, I didn't know I had that genius in me. But it can be just, it could be selfishness. It could be sharing that you didn't know you had in you as well, or didn't always see. So it can sort of run the whole spectrum, and there's really very little predictableness to it all. From the outside, you always want to say, oh yeah, people just seem to see the best in me all the time. Mm-hmm. It's not that predictable.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, time's up, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you.